Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday morning conversation. Today, my guest is pro triathlete Taylor Reid. He is a Canadian who has been stuck up in Canada for a little while due to COVID. His races all in his country have been canceled again due to COVID. But he's eager to return to the US to start racing. And he was actually here back in March, if I recall, for Challenge Miami. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And I hope you enjoy. Hey, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. It's a rest day, but that means everything else has to get done, so it's a busy day.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I won't hold you up for all that long, but
don't worry, man.
How is your training going? What's your I'm pretty sure there's no travel restrictions for Canada to the US right now, so you can at least get back into the race, right?
Yeah, it's just started. So we did have travel restrictions until probably about a week ago. So if you came back to Canada, you had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So that made things pretty difficult. So a lot of us would go down for say 2 or 3 races if we could instead of just one. But now we're back to essentially we just have to get a COVID test clear. So that's pretty good. Yeah, so that makes life. So now we can actually go down for a race or 2 and then come back. Yeah.
Did you have to do that? Did you have to do that for Miami? Because I went to Miami as well from Atlanta though.
I stayed in the U.S., but if I'd gone home, yes. So I basically stayed for Miami. I went from Miami to Haines City and then St. George. So I did 3 races and had I spent almost 3 months in the States just because I trained for a couple months in Tucson and then went and raced for a month and a half kind of deal. So that wasn't too bad.
Did you crash on couches? What did you do?
So I've got some pretty good connections in Tucson, but my C3 is my club from here. The coach, he basically has a house there and he's run camps for almost 10 years kind of deal out of Tucson. So I know the area pretty well, and he basically helped us set up a house, and the club helped support the cost of the house. So I was staying with Dominic Jemnicki, who's on the Olympic team as the alternate, a couple of juniors who we did a couple of local races the last couple of weeks. So I'm racing some young kids in sprints and super sprints just to sort of keep things interesting. Yeah. So that's been fun.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on the shorter stuff to keep this interesting. I did an Olympic yesterday, and it's a change because I prefer the 70.3 distance, but it was a little bit of a change up.
Yeah. It's changes the engine, and then especially if you switch over to the drafting stuff, I sort of forgot how that all works because I did that when I was my last draft race was probably when I was 24, 30 now, so 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was oh man, I forgot what it's like to draft with 10 guys and then have to run as fast as you can for 5K afterwards.
Well, not only that, but you forget what it's like to draft like that around that many people because you just don't do it.
Oh yeah, I spent way too much time at the front. I forgot what it takes to break away from a crew. So I forgot you had to sit third wheel or whatever, save up your energy and then attack. Instead, I tried to grind everyone down just sitting at the front, but just ended up dragging everyone around. But hey, whatever.
Yeah. So speaking of an energy type thing, you're really not that big of a guy. I mean, you're about 140 pounds. What kind of power are you putting out on your rides?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot less than say the Sam Long kind of big unit style guys. Even my training buddies, Jackson Laundry and Cody Beals would put out a lot bigger numbers. So in a 70.3 kind of situation, if I have a really good day, I'd see upwards of 270 watts. And then on probably an average day would be 260. And then the key goal for me is to be able to run well off of that. And we're working pretty hard to make sure that my CDA is as low as possible so that those 270 watts goes as far as we can get it. Because obviously on the uphills, it's not as much of a disadvantage, especially against the bigger guys. But when we get flat courses, say Daytona, basically the only way for me to really, really stand up against the huge wattage guys is essentially to be as slippery as possible in the wind and then put down maybe another extra 5 watts if I can eke that out kind of with a bit more training or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So you are going to Daytona this year?
I believe so, yeah. So we're waiting to see how the like selection process will work, but it's basically on my list of like top races. I've been doing it like for the past, I guess it would be 3 or 4 years, however long it's been going. So really good friends with like the crew there. So hopefully they'll be able to like figure out a way to get me in. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like the Clash/Challenge races I've really, really enjoyed. And to be honest, the more we see of them, the more I'll get connected and like focused on that kind of racing. It's a little bit shorter, but I find it a lot more exciting, especially Miami. Miami was very, very fun with some corners. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done Daytona yet, but I did Miami, and I've watched the pro
Nice.
races, and I noticed how, well, for one thing, they have, Miami distance, Daytona distance. None of them are
Yeah.
the same, but they're not 70.3 either.
No, yeah. So they like we had a call with Bill and his team, and basically we were sort of like, we don't have to make it the 70.3 distance. So it's like we're not pigeonholed into that. And they really like anything, they're literally coming at it as a TV kind of angle. So a lot of their distances, if anything, I think will be shorter than 70.3, just to make it sort of that, say, 2.5, 3.5 hour kind of race to keep it sort of more TV friendly, and also just sort of keep it a little bit different from the like standard kind of 70.3 Ironman distance you've seen. And yeah, they're really experiment. And the cool thing is they're listening to the pros, having meetings with us, which is really nice. And yeah, we'll see where it goes, but I'm pretty excited to see what happens next year with like, I think they got 3 or 4 races on the docket. So that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
What's it like doing that many loops for a race? What are your opinions
Yeah.
about that?
Like personally, I really like it. Like Daytona is a little bit boring on like the pro side, just because it is literally like no changes. You just hit TT and hammer, at least in my mind. Whereas Miami, I really enjoyed with a couple of like corners. They were pretty high speed, and I just really enjoy like the change of pace there. But also the cool thing with the multiple laps when there's actual technical parts is like you can just keep improving on your corner. You're like, oh, on the first lap, maybe I braked 1 second too much than I think I could. And then on lap 2, you're like, oh, I can push the limit a little bit more and more and more. So that sort of gets a little bit exciting and keeps you on your toes a little bit for the pros. But I also think hopefully it's more exciting for spectators when we're allowed to have them, and then also just for like easier TV coverage. Instead of having like 2 or 3 motos out there covering the race, they can set up particular like angles like in a NASCAR kind of race. So hopefully that'll bring across the race better on TV too.
Do you think you'll be going to Watkins Glen next year? That one of their 2 new races?
Yeah, that's like I'm gonna pencil that in. Like as soon as I know the actual like full on date and prize money, it's just so close for us too. It's like a 4-hour drive from where I am right now, so I just couldn't say no. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4 my family lives in Northeast Ohio, so it's a 4-hour drive
Nice.
from them too.
Yeah.
So I might go there and then go
Yeah.
to the race.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, you race a typically pretty full schedule. Do you anticipate keep doing that, or are you planning on
Yeah.
slowing down?
I think like I'll probably back off from what I did in 2019. Like that was pretty intense. I think I hit almost 15 races that year. So I'd probably keep it in the range of like 8 to 10, kind of max. Like I've done that for a few years, and that seems to be pretty good. Even in 2020, with a couple of local races, I was able to hit up about 8. So that was pretty cool. And I think this year I might be able to pull off 8 as well. That seems to be a pretty solid number for me, enough to like be able to focus on them. And I like to block them too. So if I can get like 2 or 3 races within a month window, it's better to like be able to train for 3 months, race for a month, and then do it again, versus like having one each month and only being able to like build up to certain ones. So yeah, but I like racing more. Just gives me a few more chances. Like if you get a flat, that means you have a better chance like on the next one kind of deal. Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer doing like rapid fire, like 4 weeks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I'd say my best round, like at least in 2019, like I raced 4 times in 5 weeks, essentially. And like it was a really good stretch around September after like about 3 months of training, and like basically was able to come away with like 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, like not in that order, but like a very good string. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
So back to your local races, Barrelman is pretty close to you, right? It's in Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Yeah. So like sadly they had to cancel that one this year. So pretty much there's going to be no racing outside of maybe Penticton and a couple of things in like sort of the western side of Canada later in the year, September. But like all of Quebec's been canceled. Barrelman just got canceled. So that's really tough. But I do love the race. Like I won it in 2019 and yeah, it's just a blast. The crew's great, put it on. And yeah, you get to run past Niagara Falls. That's just cool.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I'm 36 now, so
Yeah.
it's been a while. I actually have
You're
one.
refreshed.
My parents went to the casino when we went, and that was back when they still used these crappy like tokens. So I still have some of
Yeah.
those. I found some the other day when I was clearing out when I moved.
Like, can I exchange these for like, can I get them in?
Yeah. I guess the last thing I had to ask you is, traveling back and forth between the states as much as you do, have you ever had any trouble with customs with your bike?
Not really, just because it's one bike. Like the main question would be like, are you going to sell it? So if I'm going to the States, like they just want to make sure I'm not selling the bike. So obviously if I was bringing like 3 or 4 bikes, might get a little suspicious. The only thing I've ever had, like not even trouble, just like had to go to secondary, was I brought back an extra pair of wheels that I got in the States. So I just had to explain that it was from a sponsor. They were pretty cool with it. I know sometimes you have to pay duty if you do bring back like sponsored stuff, but really it's generally no problems. Like they're pretty cool. Like as long as you just tell them the truth, that's basically the main thing. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, Taylor, man, thanks for giving me a few minutes today. Good luck with the
Yeah,
rest of your
man.
errands.
Yeah. Got to get dinner done.
Yeah, good luck with that. But maybe I'll see
Yeah.
you at Watkins Glen. I plan on going up there. I'll introduce
Oh, that's
myself.
sweet. Yeah. Yeah, definitely come say hi. And like, yeah, we can like, if you want another like chat or anything time, like let me know. I'm more than happy to pull some time aside. But yeah, cool.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, cool.
Bye.
All right.